On Granada Reports.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Here's what's coming up on the programme this evening.
The face of a monster. Inside the twisted world of Carl Davies, the seemingly respectable father of two, starting a jail sentence for crimes beyond belief.
Offering comfort to a community still in shock. The King visits the Manchester synagogue targeted by a terrorist. Yoni survived an accidental police bullet as he tried to defend his friends.
I know I'm one of the lucky ones. It was bad, it could have been worse, but I'm here.
The word lucky is...
This year he seemed in a much better place, and it really was a shock, and we didn't expect that at all.
He looked so happy and healthy. Matthew Hatton says his family have been left devastated by his brother's sudden death.
My Dad the Hero, a hug for Tommy Fleetwood from son Frankie after the Southport golfer's latest title.
It's the biggest, the most glitzy, the most showbiz night of the year. It is, of course, the Pride of Britain Awards, and I will be live on the red carpet in London a bit later in the programme.
And weather-wise, we started off the week mild but showery, and as we head through the week, well, it's all changed. By the weekend, it's going to feel properly chilly. I have all the details for you later on in the programme.
So please do stay with us, but we've got to warn you, we are starting tonight with a very dark story. It's about a man called Carl Davies. To the outside world, he was married with children, respectable, professional, unremarkable, but his private life was very different.
Davies from the Wirral was a man who created a series of false identities to cruelly target one vulnerable teenage girl. As well as raping his victim, Davies also encouraged her to self-harm and film herself doing it.
Well, luckily for us all, he's now in prison. He was jailed earlier at Manchester Crown Court for 20 years. Our correspondent, Anne O'Connor, has our top story tonight.
Carl Davies is a husband and father from Wirral. He worked as a quantity surveyor. He's also a sex attacker who helped a schoolgirl harm herself and sent him images of her doing it.
He held down a full-time job. He had a wife and two small children, and by all accounts just seemed a normal person. But online, he was a different person completely, and he was pretending to be, you know, a monster exploiting young girls.
Davies created 6 Snapchat accounts to torment a 13-year-old girl with learning disabilities into sending him sexual images and videos. He'd blackmail and threaten her with messages from 5 accounts, but one would promise to protect her. The teenager had ADHD and had lived most of her life in care. 4 times in June and July last year, Davies drove the more than an hour-long journey from home in Wirral to Stockport to meet her, sexually abuse her, and even provide material for her to harm herself and send him images of her doing it. Teachers found out and called police. Body-worn camera footage shows officers' initial contact with her, but she took months to tell them what happened. In fact, it was her detailed description of her abuser's Seat Alteca car that trapped him. Officers tracked all cars of that make and model driving into Stockport and knew they had their suspect because the teenager told them about its distinctive air freshener. Police, who'd thought 6 men were ganging up on her, now discovered all the Snapchat accounts were operating from Davies's Wi-Fi account. Arrested in February this year, he refused to admit anything in interview.
Are you responsible for the sexual exploitation of...
No comment.
Okay. Are you responsible for having sexual activity with a child?
No comment.
Are you responsible for asking for indecent images of...
No comment.
Are you responsible for providing with an item to self-harm and then requested for images of self-harm?
No comment.
At Manchester Crown Court, he pleaded guilty to 14 counts of sex abuse and grooming in a case that made legal history.
So this offence is under the new Online Safety Act, which came into force on the 1st of January 2024. There has been a previous conviction, but that was for an adult, so this is the first one for a child victim.
Officers on the case say Carl Davis' wife had been suspicious he was having an affair and found the teenage girl's number on his phone.
And actually spoke to the victim, who didn't know at the time was a child, and the wife was so concerned about the safety of children that she actually provided us with a statement which actually greatly assisted in terms of sending Carl to prison.
The Crown Prosecution Service says its most seasoned grooming case experts have never seen such sophisticated methods used to target a young person for vile abuse. They say he is now behind bars where he belongs. Anne O'Connor, ITV News.
Yeah, an incredibly shocking case. And after Davis was sentenced, the children's charity, the NSPCC, urged anyone suspecting a child was being harmed should contact them. They also said the sentencing of Carl Davis demonstrates how crucial the Online Safety Act is for holding perpetrators to account. We hope news of this imprisonment will spread and act as a deterrent to others before they commit and harm children.
They went on to say tech companies must do much more to make their platforms safe spaces for children and young people and protect them from grooming.
Well, in other news today, and more teenagers have been arrested after a schoolboy was left with serious injuries after being stabbed in the back in Wirral. The 15-year-old was attacked in Ridgewood Park in Pensby just after 5 o'clock last night. A 13-year-old girl was originally arrested. Now a further 3 boys have been detained.
Residents in Crewe are being encouraged to have their say on the rebuild of Leighton Hospital as a series of public information events got underway earlier today. It opened in the 70s and plans for a new building were confirmed 2 years ago. The Trust promises to be the UK's most digitally advanced facility when it opens in around 5 years' time.
Works expected to start this week to make Walton Hall in Liverpool safer after a fire left the historic building severely damaged. The abandoned hall was nearly destroyed in August. Contractors will be taking down unstable walls, but people are warned the site is still not safe to enter.
Well, next tonight to the Southport inquiry, which has been hearing evidence from the killer's psychiatrist.
Yes, so Dr. Anthony Molyneux works for Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services at Alderhay Hospital in Liverpool. Today, he admitted he hadn't read information about the attacker's previous violent incidents in his patient's record before deciding that his risk to others was, in his words, minimal.
Well, Dr. Molyneux said he knew the teenager had taken a knife into school, but he only became aware of the extent of AR's violent history after the attack.
Anna Yosef has been following the inquiry for us at Liverpool Town Hall. Anna.
Well, Dr. Molyneux told the inquiry today that it would have been impossible for him to have had the time to have reviewed the perpetrator's complete patient file. Instead, he would have read an assessment letter. In fact, it was only after the Southport attack that he became aware of AR's involvement in a number of serious incidents. He told the inquiry he didn't know AR had taken a knife into school on at least 10 occasions, threatening to cause serious harm, or that he'd attacked another student with a hockey stick, leading to a criminal conviction. He hadn't known that he'd been researching mass shootings, or that he'd referred to the Manchester Arena bombing as, quote, a good battle. And he'd also been unaware that the teenager had told police that he wanted to stab people, and that when he'd gone missing, he'd been found on a bus with a knife. All information contained within his patient file. Dr. Molyneux said that he had no suspicion those details were recorded in the teenager's notes and, quote, would not have gone looking for it. Asked if he'd failed in his duty to check the files thoroughly, he said, I don't accept that submission.
And Anna, we heard today that Dr. Molyneux visited AR's family home. What were we told about those visits?
Well, Katie, essentially that AR would disappear into his bedroom whenever he knew that the doctor was coming to the family home. The main concern at that time was AR's weight loss because of his restricted eating and also his refusal to leave the home. Now, during these visits, Dr. Molyneux said that AR's father appeared unwilling to even try to get his son to speak to him, and there was no mention that AR was violent or posed a risk to anybody. Dr. Molyneux said that looking at the situation with hindsight, he felt AR's parents, quote, stage managed the presentation of information to professionals. And he said that they seemed unwilling or unable to implement boundaries when it came to their son's behaviour. The inquiry continues.
OK, Anna in Liverpool for us tonight. Many thanks.
Well, next tonight, and King Charles has been in Manchester today to meet some of the heroes of the synagogue attack.
Yeah, His Royal Highness was greeted by members of the Jewish community at the Heaton Park Synagogue almost 3 weeks on from the tragedy that claimed 2 members of the congregation.
He later met the emergency services who dealt with the incident in Crumpsall, as Rob Smith now reports.
A monarch mobbed in gratitude. So many handshakes, so many thank yous from those whose place of worship was attacked on their holiest day. King Charles' visit here began at the impromptu memorial filled with flowers and messages of sympathy. Inside the synagogue in Crumpsall, he met those who were there, including Yoni Finlay. He helped to barricade the door against the terrorists but was hit by a police bullet. Now out of hospital, the King checked on his condition.
They were not too much pain.
He asked obviously how I'm doing. He asked obviously what support I've had from the community, from the NHS, from the wider community, and he was taking his time to ask obviously what care I've had over the last few weeks, and obviously how that's helped me. So, but like I say, I know I'm one of the lucky ones. It was bad. It could have been worse.
Yoni didn't need to explain how much worse. 2 people didn't survive the attack, Adrian Dalby and Melvin Kravitz. The King expressed his sadness at their loss.
These doors right here, the doors right behind you.
He told leaders and members of the congregation it was a, quote, terrible thing to come out of the blue.
The majority of the people who he's met were the people who were inside the synagogue at the time of the attack. He walked round to meet people in different groups and spoke to them all. He spoke to absolutely everybody. He was not in a rush. He would never rush past anybody. Anyone who wanted to speak to him, he shook everyone's hand.
The response as the royal car left revealed what this meant to a wider community.
So much has happened, and it's very reassuring to think that the royal family are being supportive, and that's lovely.
I think it means that whatever happens to anyone, whatever faith they are, whatever religion and whatever background they come from, it should still be treated serious.
It means a lot to the Jewish community. The King has always been a close friend of the Jewish community.
Later, it was the King expressing his thanks at Greater Manchester Police HQ, meeting those who responded from all the emergency services.
There was lots of people in the building trying to see the King. That's how significant it is that he's chosen to come here today to recognise everyone's efforts. And it will mean a lot for the morale of the organisation and the officers who responded.
I thought it was very important for the crews to have that understanding and that recognition from such a high official such as the King, to be able to come and speak to the crews face to face and have those softer conversations that you probably never have again.
This visit, say Buckingham Palace, was about spending time with those impacted by what happened. Some brighter moments after another dark day in Manchester's history. Rob Smith, ITV News.
And I think you really got a sense of how much the community really appreciated the King's visit there.
Yeah, OK. Time now for a look at what's to come on the national news. Up next, at a few days after the opening of the inquest into Ricky Hatton's death, we've been hearing from his family today. Hi, Chris.
Hi, yes, the brother of Ricky Hatton says the last few weeks have been like a bad dream. The former boxing world champion was found dead at his home in Hyde last month. Last week, a coroner ruled the 46-year-old had taken his own life. In his first interview since his brother's death, Matthew Hatton said that while he'd had concerns for his brother's welfare, nobody had expected this tragic outcome. He's been speaking to Mike Hall.
Matthew, have you even begun to process what's happened?
In reality, I think no. When it first happened, absolutely totally shocked. And I'll be honest, for the first couple of weeks, I went to see my mum and dad, I went to see Campbell. I just couldn't answer my phone, I just couldn't speak to people. It felt almost like a bad dream. And
Has it hit me yet fully? I don't know, probably not.
Ricky spoke so openly and bravely about his battles with his mental health, but is it fair to say that nobody believed that he would take his own life?
No, I don't think we ever did. I'll be honest, I've always worried about, I spoke with my partner Jenna all the time, and we did worry a lot about Richard. Obviously do a lot of interviews and stuff like that, and I'd listen, and I was never really convinced sometimes by what he was saying. A lot of the time he was speaking about with things that happened years ago, and he didn't really seem to have a purpose now or a vision for the future, and that always worried me. But genuinely this year he's the best he's ever been, and by a long way, because he's had his problems since he stopped boxing. He's had his issues, they've been well documented, but this year was undoubtedly the best I've ever seen him. It really was a shock, and we didn't expect that at all.
Did he ever reach out to you?
No, not really. He's very hard. He was always so busy. He was here, there, everywhere. So no, he didn't. I know he was speaking to people, professionals, on a regular basis, and that made me a little bit easier about the whole thing with my thoughts with that. But no, he didn't.
The family have been left with a lot of unanswered questions. How do you make peace with that and try to move forward?
A few things that make me feel better. Rick loved being around people. He loved being in the limelight, and he lived his life the way he lived it. He didn't get ill. He didn't experience illness. He didn't fade into the background. He didn't grow old, where we all become a little bit less relevant. He'd have hated that. He'd have absolutely hated that.
The scenes at Ricky's funeral were extraordinary. The streets of Manchester were packed. What did that mean to you and the family?
I thought it was amazing. I expected G-Cross, where we live, Hattersley, where we grew up. I knew they were going to be busy and people come out in the droves, but like going through different places, we stopped at lots of different places, and it was pretty much all the way to the cathedral. There was people on the streets everywhere, and you could see the pain on the faces, and how much he meant to them, and the inspiration that he gave to the people. So for the family, it was such a great turnout, and I can't thank people enough.
Everybody felt like they knew Ricky Hatton, but of course nobody knew him better than you. Share some of your memories of growing up together.
We was inseparable, we was best friends. When I think back to the Vegas days, training together, boxing on the same bills, which we did a lot, we needed each other and we bounced off each other. Boxing's a tough, lonely game, but we did it a lot together. The best times of my life and the best time of his life, I feel fortunate we spent them together. We were speaking yesterday, just in the house. Probably 60–70% of the conversation was about Richard, and I feel at the stage now where I'm starting to smile about it. I feel very fortunate to have all them great memories, and it really does make me feel better.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, such a sad story, and thank you to Matthew for sharing those memories with us. Now, though, to football, and Jurgen Klopp says it's theoretically possible that he could one day be Liverpool manager again. Not a helpful interview clip for Arne Slot to hear after he led Liverpool to their worst run of results for 11 years.
It's really important for our fans because they are struggling. They struggle against Grimsby, they struggle against Brentford, and today they saw a different team, and that is really important to come here to this stadium with the champion, biggest rival, to sing during the game. That is massive for us, so this win is for them.
As a manager, you face constantly challenges. So when I just started, you face the challenge of being a new manager, and then you need to win games. Then when you do well, you go to a bigger club and people are like, let's see how he does over there. Then you go being the successor of Jurgen Klopp, and people say this is the biggest challenge you've ever faced. And then now we've lost 4 times in a row, and that's also a challenge.
Well, at the other end of the Premier League table, there was a huge win too for Burnley. They ended their 5-match winless run, beating Leeds United 2-0 to climb out of the relegation zone. While Manchester City's third straight win, 2-0 against Everton, moved them up to second. Erling Haaland with another couple of goals, taking his tally to 23 in 13 games this season.
We cannot rely on, we want to do good things, so just with Erling, So our wingers and attacking midfielders and the other players have to make a step up, and the chances that we create, they're so clear, We have to score goals.
I've seen other teams come here and have less of the ball and less chances than we do and go away with a result. So I'm pleased with how we're performing. I'm pleased with how we're picked up compared to where we were this time last year and what we're doing.
Well, let's look at the highlights from the Football League now. And 3 straight wins for Stockport County have moved them to within a point of the League One summit. Their latest success came in the form of a 1-0 home win over Exeter. Meanwhile, Wigan climbed away from the lower end of the table with a 1-0 win over Port Vale. Blackpool are now bottom after being held to a 1-1 draw by Wycombe. In League Two, struggling Accrington enjoyed a big win, 4-0 over Swindon. Tranmere's 7-match winless run is over thanks to a 4-1 win at Bristol Rovers. Barrow stretched their unbeaten run to 5 matches with a 2-1 win at Walsall. Fleetwood Town held Chesterfield to a 1-1 draw away from home. And Salford City are in the playoff positions after beating Oldham Athletic 1-0.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsor of the Granada Sport Report.
Well, now to golf, and after his first PGA Tour victory and a dramatic Ryder Cup win, there have already been some special moments for Tommy Fleetwood this year, but this one might beat the lot. After winning the DP World India Championship, Tommy, who's from Southport, made his son's dream come true. 8-year-old Frankie Fleetwood had always wanted to run onto the 18th green and celebrate victory with his daddy. So this was a moment the Fleetwood family will never forget.
To have that on the 18th, it meant a lot. It's like little things like that. They're huge moments to us personally. And yeah, we'll always have that. I'll look back on that and I know that, I achieved that and managed to have him run onto the green. It was really special.
Yeah, what a moment for Tommy. Congratulations to him. And that's all we've got to do, isn't it? To get their respect, just win a major golfing world title.
Easy. Chris, thank you.
Cheers. Not asking much.
Well, finally, in a world where there seems to be a lot of depressing news, something lovely and heartwarming to end on.
Yeah, tonight is Pride of Britain night, when an army of local and largely unsung heroes gathers with a bunch of celebrities in London for an evening of well-earned praise and prizes.
Well, you may remember just a few weeks ago now, we revealed our Pride of Britain nominees.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there's Philippa and Sean Stirrup, who've set up a charity named in memory of their daughter Millie Rose, which supports families who've lost a child.
Well, tonight they and lots of other fundraisers and generally lovely people will find out if they've won one of the many awards on offer. Our correspondent Victoria Grimes is on the red carpet at Grosvenor House. Vicky, without doubt, one of the best nights of the year.
Oh, come on, if I've got my sequins on, we know it's a big night of the year. It is the Pride of Britain Awards, honouring all of those unsung heroes from the communities across the UK who do so much. Olivia Atwood's here with us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And she said, is it live? So I'm not allowed to swear.
Yeah, I was like, why have you chose me? She let me walk past.
You're looking stunning. Are you looking forward to tonight?
I very much am, so it's such an important evening to give recognition to people that deserve it most.
It really is. Well, we'll let you get inside and get a drink, because I'm sure you need one. It's freezing here tonight. And look here, we've got a big crowd. Everyone's having a lovely time. And most importantly of all, we have got our Granada Reports regional fundraiser nominees Pip and Sean. Guys, how was it walking that red carpet tonight?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a very Millie thing to do, very showbiz. She'd have loved it.
So you've been nominated for your amazing work with people that have lost children, lost little ones, and making that experience for them in hospital so much better after you lost your gorgeous little Millie. And you were saying before when we were chatting, Pip, that you think she would have liked being here tonight.
Oh yeah, she really wanted to come to London, so it seems really fitting that it's here. Yeah, she'd love it.
And you're wearing blue tonight because that was our favourite colour.
Favourite colour. We
Absolutely.
had no choice. It had to be blue, yeah.
And have you spotted some celebs then?
Oh, there's plenty, yeah.
Yes.
David Hay, Barry McGuigan, there's loads.
You see, he's talking about the sports fellas. I would have gone straight in for. I've just seen Westlife.
I saw Joey Essex. Does that count?
And how are you getting on with the shoes? Because it's a bit squelchy
I've
on
got
this red
very,
carpet,
very
isn't it?
soggy toes, but we'll just stay up this way.
We're
Or not.
We're all struggling a bit. It's a bit of a squelchy red carpet. It was pouring with rain here. Guys, have an amazing night. Javino, here he is, the man himself.
Oh, he's here.
You're getting an award.
I know. Am I?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Don't be out to like a sports prize. You're looking very dapper, my friend.
Thank you, darling. I'm brilliant. You know what? Energy, love, a vibe. It's everything. It's great, isn't it? It's just good.
Have you spotted a few here that you could get into your fitness classes?
A million people. But do you know what? I know there's amazing celebs here. The people that inspire me the most are the ones that are going to be on that stage. Wait until you lot hear and see the stories.
And that's it, isn't it? Have you brought your tissues with you? Because it's going to be a tearjerker.
Oh, it's going to be wet in there. I'm going to be crying. My wife's already cried. Mum and Dad, everyone's going to be in there crying. But do you know what? It's going to be happy tears.
They're going to be happy to have an amazing night. We're so proud of you in the Northwest.
Thank you.
Mwah. Have a great night. Enjoy it. He's starving. He's been telling me all night he's ready for some food. We will be bringing you all the action tomorrow on Granada Reports at 6 o'clock. Catch you then.
Oh, Vicky, thank you. Oh, we're all going to need our tissues, aren't we?
Yeah, going to be some incredible people on that stage there. Here's James.
Mom, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hi there, good evening. Sunny spells and showers to start the week, and it's going to be a fairly unsettled week all in. Low pressure just sort of corkscrewing to the south of us. It's thrown up a few showers up across the northwest. We'll see a few more as we head through the week. And then we get another little feature that skirts to the south of us and then up into the North Sea. What that does, even though it doesn't really impact us directly, is open the gateway to much colder air in for the weekend. So probably some pretty chilly nights and rather fresh by day too. As you can see, the showers are sort of changing direction. Instead of pushing up from the south, they're pulling out to the south. Few more showers just pushing in from the west later on in the night. Temperatures, because of the breeze, because of the amount of cloud around, pretty much staying in double figures across the board. Just one or two places dipping into high single digits. As far as tomorrow goes, not that dissimilar from today. I think we'll see a few more showers than we've seen today. One or two of them a little bit sharp in nature. Probably not particularly thundery or indeed any hail mixed in, but you'll certainly know about one of these showers if you catch one. In spite of the showery weather, still looking pretty good temperature wise, maybe a degree down on today, 12 to 14 Celsius, feeling cooler because of the strength of the breeze, particularly out across the Irish Sea there, so the coastal areas are going to feel a little bit breezy. Wednesday, a little ripple of high pressure should calm things down a little bit, generally dry, some decent sunny spells. Thursday, lots of hefty showers around and about, and then Friday, bright spells, and then beyond that, temperatures taking a dip as we head into the weekend. Have a good evening.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
And that is it for tonight's Granada Reports.
Yeah, make sure you join us tomorrow when we'll speak to some of the stars of the Brookside Hollyoaks special crossover programme.
We're back with the latest updates after news at 10, but from all of us here, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.